Hey, I want to say welcome. Thank you so much for joining us today. Hey, I'm in the offices of Infofree. Now, why do you ask that? Because these guys have got one of the best, not one of the best, the best database system. Hey, my name is Mark Hunter, the Sales Hunter, and we're going to get going here in about 10 seconds. Hey, welcome to another webinar. My name is Mark Hunter, the Sales Hunter. And what we're talking about is how do you get going with sales if you're new to sales? Now, hey, today's webinar, I'm doing something totally different. I'm in the offices of infofree.com. Now, why am I here? For one very simple reason. They do a better job than anybody else out there in helping you really get going in sales. I've got a couple of things I'm going to share with you. And then, you know what? Screen behind me, we're going to jump into the database and actually show you how easy it is. Now, here's one of the biggest challenges people have when they get into sales is, what am I supposed to do? Well, that's one of the reasons I wrote that book, High Profit Prospecting. In fact, it's funny, but it's 11 o'clock right now, Central Time, and I've already had 3 emails from people who have bought the book asking me questions about it. So clearly it's doing something. Hey, but here's where we want to get into. We really want to be talking about, you're new to sales. What is it that you got to be doing? You know, one of the funniest things is really sales is really all about getting across the finish line, because that's really what you want to do. You want to get across the finish line. But one of the biggest challenges people have is getting the right prospects, getting the right leads. You see, what happens many times is that people wind up with leads that really don't go anywhere. And that's why I'm a big proponent of Infofree, because it's so easy to get the right leads. Because here's the whole thing. If you start off with the right leads, don't you think you're going to be able to turn them into the right sales? I think you're going to be able to. Now, here's the whole key about sales. You know, you're new to sales. How do you go? You got to make sure you use all the tools out there. Now, the 2 biggest tools really are the clock and the calendar. Yeah, surprisingly enough, people always say, well, isn't it what? No, it's not what you sell. It's the clock and the calendar. Now, what do I mean by this? It's really using your time effectively. Because here's, again, one of the big challenges people get into is they start going down rabbit trails that don't go anywhere. And as a result, that gets them very frustrated. And that's one of the challenges that I think people have in sales, irregardless of what you sell. Oh, by the way, some of you might be saying, hey, Mark, is this about B2C, business to consumer? Or is this about business to consume, business to business, B2B? You know what? I'll tell you what, it's H to H, human to human. Because whether or not you're in business or consumer, it's still one person dealing with one person. You know what? The best way to do that is with the telephone. The telephone still to this day is without a doubt the best prospecting tool. And again, that's one of the challenges that I always share with people. I say, hey, don't get yourself into a situation where all you have is leads that are nothing but emails. Okay, those are great. But really what I want to be doing is I want to get phone numbers. I want to get phone numbers that I can follow, that I can call, that I can make it happen. Because you know what? Here's what it's all about. It's really about 3 critical things right there on the screen. Be relaxed, be natural, and be you. Let me back up for a second. Let me share with you one quick thought. A lot of people don't like to pick up the phone. Oh, what do I say? What do I do? Just be relaxed. Be natural. Be you. I don't know how. Just be relaxed, natural, and you. See, I think one of the reasons why people want to have other people do their prospecting for them is because they're afraid that they're going to, no, don't worry about it. Just be relaxed, be natural, be you. You see, when you are, it's amazing how easy a conversation you can have on the telephone. It is incredibly easy. Now, here's the challenge. How do I find out who to be calling? Now, you could simply just call a phone number and, blind squirrel is going to find an acorn occasionally. But what I want to do is I want to have some sort of a system that's going to help tell me exactly where to go, who to be reaching out to. And again, this is where just a little bit of planning. Now, what's very interesting is another problem I see new salespeople have is they spend all their time planning, preparing, but they never get around to doing. You see what they do is they get that piece of paper and they start cranking that piece of paper and it just goes and no, go make the call. And again, this is why I like Infofree.com because it gives me the information so quickly. Now, I'm going to jump over here to this other screen and I've got working the computer to help me. Jared, who runs the sales team, great guy. In fact, he'd love to talk with you even right now today on the phone. So let's jump over here. We've got up here, we got the home page. So Jared's going to go ahead and jump into the system itself, the database. And when I talk about the database, this thing is absolutely huge. Now, you know what's interesting though? Don't get overwhelmed by the size of the database. Because again, what did I say earlier? Sales is about H to H, human to human. What you want to be able to find is what are the right people that you can call at the right time. Remember that slide I had up earlier of the clock and the calendar? You see, because what you're going to find in sales is it is all about using your time, the clock, and using the customer's calendar. What do I mean by the customer's calendar? It's probably going to take you more than 1 or 2 calls to get a hold of somebody. That's okay. You know, I always argue that the best sales prospecting philosophy, strategy is found on the back or the bottom of every shampoo bottle. It says repeat. Yeah, repeat. I love that strategy. But hey, let's jump into this. So we've got, oh, hey, Jared's done a great job. He's gone into the system already. And let's kind of run through a couple of examples here. So let's just do business data. This is how quick it is. Main search. I'm going to pull up main search. And okay, see, you start off with geography, and then there's different types that you work. See, this is what's nice. The system is so simplistic that in about 30 seconds, you can know who you're supposed to be calling. Wow, think about that. You see, one of the big challenges people do is they spend all their time preparing to prospect, but never doing it. This eliminates all that. This in and of itself is a huge efficiency tool. So let's jump into geography. So, oh, you're going to do search by city. Okay, let's grab Chicago. Let's grab Chicago. Just type in Chicago. Now, you notice you can type in more than one city, but we'll just stick with just Chicago. Okay, and that sounds good. Wow, 115. Well, that's too many to call. I got to narrow it down. Let's narrow it down. So let's go into type of business. Okay, and type of business. We'll say we're selling restaurant supplies. Now, not to restaurants themselves, but to restaurant suppliers, restaurant dealers, and so forth. So let's go ahead and see what it is. Now, this is all arranged by the SIC code, which is how kind of the government classifies all businesses. So he's going to type in, there he is, he's going to type in restaurant equipment. Let's see what's there. Oh, you see the different SIC codes there? Restaurant fixtures. Let's go ahead and add that in there. And I think, okay, go ahead and click that one. That's fine. I don't care. And oh, let's stop right there. You notice 9 sales leads. You see how quickly we've gone from 115,000 down to 9? Well, you say, I can handle 9. Let's grab a couple more. So let's jump down. Restaurant equipment and supply store. Let's add that one. Okay, boom, we're up to 10. Now you see, I can keep adding. I can keep finding. You see, this is the beauty about this. It allows me to get to a number that I can handle. Remember one of the first slides I shared with you was the finish line slide? Now, the reason I like that slide is for one very simple reason. Too many times what happens is people will get, they'll get 50,000 leads they're going to call. But then they only call them once. Well, if they only call them once, chances of being successful are probably not that great. So what I want to do is I want to be able to get to a number that I can handle. And again, that's what this system allows me to do because it's so intuitive to the way I think. Okay, so now let's go ahead and add in something else in there. Do we have it in there? There we go. Okay, we're up to 12. Now, this is what's cool. Go to business size because I can keep those. I think I go to next selection. I go to business size. See, I can now sort it even further. One of the beautiful things, Infofree.com has got access to so many different databases, and they aggregate them together. And they've put together a really complex sorting system That's very simple for you. So now, see, I can type by employee size. Now, maybe that's not relevant to me. Okay, so what I can do is I can just do select all. Now, maybe the size of the business is, because what I sell is really pretty high price. So guess what? Probably small people aren't, smaller companies. But what the heck? Let's just stick with select all for this one. Let's just, because we only have 10. So let's see what these 12 are. I'm done. View the sales leads. Boom. Isn't that easy? Now, what's interesting is that probably took us maybe about 2 minutes. Jared's sitting here laughing because he's saying, hey, I could have done this in 20 seconds. Yeah, that's how quick I can come up with my lead. So look over here. See, I've got the name, the address, information about the business, including credit, and boom. There's all the info. There's the phone number. Is this going to help you? Sure it is. This is going to allow you to be able to make the call so quick and so simple. Now, what's nice about this is I've got not only this information here, but I've got the contact name. Now, let's take a step back here for a second. Go ahead and continue to scroll. Go ahead and continue to play with it. Play with it, Jared, because that's what Jared loves to do. And let me share with you something. We did this example B2B. But see, I could also do it B2C. We'll say I sell insurance. I can go through and I can sort out demographic groups in a certain zip code in a very tight profile that's going to allow me to reach out. What does this allow me to do? This allows me to have more prospects that I can reach out to faster. Now, one of the questions that came up as I was writing the book, High Profit Prospecting, the biggest challenge he said was, Mark, I wind up with leads, but they're not good leads. And I get it. I agree. Because a lot of people can wind up with leads that just don't go anywhere. And again, that's what this tool helps me with. Now, we got some questions that are going to be, we got some questions that came in actually ahead of time from some people. And I know we're going to have some other questions. We're going to get to those in just a second, but let me share with you something very interesting. People say, Mark, I'm not quite sure who I should be reaching out to. Well, you know what's interesting? You can reverse engineer Infofree.com. Whoa, reverse engineer. Yeah, it's not as complex as you think. What you do is you take your best customer. Who's your best customer? You put them into the system and you see what SIC code they are. You see what their profile is. And then you just build matches all around that. I hear other people say, Mark, this example you shared started off with geography. And well, I'm not constrained by geography or by zip code. Fine. I can put it in there by state, city. I can even do the whole US. What does this do? This gives me a tremendous amount of flexibility. Because now what I'm going to be able to do is use my time to do the right thing. Now, I've got a couple questions that have popped up here, and let me just kind of share them with you. How do I know who would be my best prospects? Well, I kind of answered that, but you see what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in and I'm going to put in my own company. Jared, you want to walk us through an example like that real quick? Okay, he's going to kind of come back up here. He's going to go to Business Credit Report. Now watch how he does this real quick. He's going to put in a company name. And I don't know, you have a company name you want to make up? Just
let's grab one of the records we were just looking at.
Okay, he's going to grab a record that he just happened to be looking at. So you can put in any type of information there. And see, I'm going to click on that. And you see what I get here? Boom. Is this going to help me? It's going to give me the geography where they're at. May very well be other very viable people, especially in B2C, viable prospects living right around them. In B2B, viable business prospects doing business right around them. But you see how I get all of this information. So now what I can do is I can begin to back in because now I've got the SIC code. See, I got the SIC code. So I can use that to come back in and find 20, 30, 40, 50 prospects that I can use. You see, what I love about infofree.com is I can pull down what I need today or this week and make those calls. I come back, I grab a different set next week, I grab a different set. And one of the cool tools is they've actually got a CRM system built into it. So what does that allow you to do? Pull everything right into your CRM system. In other words, this tool is doing all of your prospecting preparation for you in literally just 30 seconds. I love that. What does that allow you to do? It allows you to have more time to contact more prospects. Now, another question that came in was, how do I know if the leads I've come up with are any good? Well, that's a great question. Now, here's what I'm going to argue. I'm going to start here and work my way back, but then I got to start making some calls. Here's one of the challenges. Don't make one or two calls and make a broad general assumption off of that SIC code. That's a big mistake a lot of people make. Don't. I'm going to work that list. I'm going to work that list. I think we had, what did we have up there? 12 before, Jared, or something like that? Previous searches here. Yeah, we had 12. Oh, did you notice how quickly all this data was saved and Jared was able to go back? Again, doesn't this save you from having to write all this stuff down and take time and time and time away from prospecting? It's all right there. See, so I'm not going to know really what to do with this until I reach out to all 12. And I'm going to probably have to reach out to them 2, 3, 4, 5 times. It's okay. It's okay. You know, sales is really all about helping your customers achieve what they didn't think was possible. Yeah. And so don't you owe it to them to get in touch with them? And, don't be alarmed if they don't respond right away. That's okay. How many times have you had somebody come by your house, or back in the old days before we had cell phones with us all the time, somebody would call and you weren't home. You're not available all the time. You're just, even now my cell phone rings and I don't answer it all the time. No, because I'm busy. So don't hesitate. Reach out to people. Reach out to people. Now, another question. What do you suggest is the right number of leads I should start with? Well, don't start with 30 million. Oh, by the way, Infofree.com can give you a lot more than just 30 million. Here's what I say. Start with a manageable list. Now, what is a manageable list? It's going to depend on you and your business. If you are a salesperson and you spend all of your time on the telephone, you can probably have a list of 500 because you're going to work your way through them. If you're a small business owner and you only have a couple hours a day with which to prospect, oh, Jared's going in, he's doing something else here. Ooh, call for a quote. Well, I like that. Yeah. What'd you do there? You just added a quick note there in the contact manager system. See what he's doing? He's showing us how quickly and easily the system works. Now, let's step back to what I was talking about. You're a dedicated salesperson, 500, maybe even 1,000 leads you could handle. I'm not quite sure. You may be a small business owner and maybe you can only handle 30 at a time. So it might be that I'm going to handle 30 this month and 30 next month and 30 the month after. But here's one of the key things. You need to start off with a database this big to be able to get to the ones that you want to get to. An argument I'll hear is people say, well, why? If I can only handle this slice, why do I need to look at the whole thing? I need to look at the whole thing to find what the right size is. See, and again, the search criteria Infofree.com provides to you is absolutely huge. So the right number of leads is going to vary. Here's a very simple strategy that I say. Set your prospecting time up on your calendar. Don't say, I'm going to prospect when I get time, because you'll never get to it. You literally have to put it on your calendar. I was text messaging this morning with a good friend of mine, Jeb Blunt. You may know the name. He wrote the book Fanatical Prospecting. Huge, killer, successful book on prospecting. He wrote the foreword for my book, and I contributed to his. And we were both commenting about how we can walk into an organization and see instantly how the most successful organizations are those that have dedicated time to prospect. If you don't have a dedicated time to prospect, it's amazing how it does not happen. Now, I got another question here. Isn't it better to start with a large list of leads to give you more to work with? Oh, no, it's not. Whoa, what did I just say? Well, I start with a large list because, believe me, Infofree.com has got that large list. But if I try to pull them all into my CRM system, I'm going to overwhelm myself. Let me give you an example. Have you ever walked into a store and found so many different options that it leaves you confused? Yeah. You may be looking for a car, you go to a car dealer and you look at, there's so many different options of cars. You may be looking at something online, so many different options. And as a result, it confuses you and it actually slows your decision-making process. So again, what I use is I use Infofree.com to pull down into a very tight list. Now, if you got questions out there, feel free, put them into that little comment chat bar over on the side, and I'll pull them up here and I'll be happy to answer them. But Jared, do me a favor. Let's go back and let's do a search and let's time you as to how quickly. We're going to test. We're going to test Jared here to see how quick he can rock it through here. So, okay, so you came in, and do you have an idea what you want to do? I know. Hey, let's say this. You're an insurance agent. You're an insurance agent in Dallas, Texas. Right, let's narrow it down. You're an insurance agent in Irving, Texas. Okay, go. Ooh, see what he did there? He went down to a different database. Search by city. He's going to type in Irving, I-R-V-I. There it is. Boom. Irving. There it is. Okay. And next selection. Ooh, search by home ownership. See what he's doing here? He says, hey, I want to get to people who, okay. Are you impressed? In probably about what, 35 seconds, he just came up with, what was that, 309 potential prospects to reach out to. Now, I don't know if you noticed, but we were whipping through that pretty quickly, but it had date of birth, it had ownership, income. So think about the different types of insurance. You may be in auto, you may be in rent, you may have you really want to target renters because a lot of renters don't have insurance. So boom, I can go in and I can search that because I can look at who does not own a home. Wow, the power of the database is absolutely huge. Now, let's see. Okay, so you got 309 there. Let's say, Jared, it's still too many to work with. I like 309, but I can't get to all 309 right now. So, oh, notice this? He's going to edit search. So now, what is he going to do? He's going to go into phone options. Oh, do not call registry. Okay, so there we go. You see this? You see how Infofree.com protects you if you're dealing with the consumer. The do not call registry is built right in. What does this do? This helps you know that you're dialing with integrity. You're calling with integrity. And boom, you see what he's done there? Yeah, he suddenly narrowed it down. He got it down to 142. Again, what is he doing? Now, you know what's really kind of cool is that, oh, wow, he's pulling up a map. I can think of a number of different ways. You may have people on the do not call. Okay, do not call. But you know what? I could mail them. I could send them a postcard. I could send them some. It doesn't mean they aren't prospects. And again, Infofree.com provides you with the tools to be able to reach out to people multiple ways. And I think that's one of the big differences, because one of the things that I've seen, and again, I have a lot of companies who reach out to me with various products, and they say, Mark, would you help us sell this? And what happens is they only have one little piece. Well, gee, we only have emails, or gee, we only have street address, or Infofree.com's got it all. So what does that allow me to do? It allows me to have the biggest selection of options I can work with. So now you've got 142 there. Let's just pull up another person there, okay? And let's see the physical map, okay? Show on map. Because you may be, hey, you know what? You're very familiar. Now we're in Irving, Texas. You may be, oh, I know that area. I know that area. You see, this is a great tool. Being able to have the aerial photo of this then allows me to say, hey, you know what? I am going to go out and I am going to talk to some of these people. Oh, I know, because I've already got a policy holder in this unit over here. That's great. I'm going to see if that policy owner knows that person. Maybe they can help make me an introduction. You see all of these tools that begin to help you? This is some of the beautiful stuff that Infofree.com does. Now, why don't you jump back out? Let's start a brand new search. Let's do a brand new search, okay? And hot sales leads. Now again, this is one of the cool, neat things. Infofree.com continuously updates their databases, and there's new stuff coming in. So guess what? We got new movers. Let's take a look at. Let's grab new movers. What does this do? Hey, again, if I'm in insurance, this is going to help me. Maybe I'm a furniture store. Think about when people move, many times they got to buy furniture. If I'm a furniture store, boom, I want to be hitting these people. Maybe it's I've got any number of different services. I may have a lawn service, landscaping service, boom, alarm company, pesticide, whatever it might be, boom, I want to be. This new movers piece, if you reach consumers, this database is going to pay for it right now. Okay, so let's jump in by, let's take search by county, okay? Let's do search by county. And let's just throw in a county. Let's throw in Lancaster County, Oregon. I'm making something. I thought there was, no, there is none. Oh, there is none. So let's just do Lancaster, PA, because that's a suburb of Philadelphia there, okay? So we got Lancaster, PA, okay? And there's 20,000 new movers. Now, the problem is that is way too many for us to jump into. So what should we do? Let's try to bring it in. And so let's go ahead, next selection here. We got some more questions that have just come in here. So let's do, last 2 weeks. Let's do the last 2 weeks. That's going to 798. Think about this. If I'm a landscaping company, if I'm a furniture store, if I'm in pesticide, any kind of, wow, those are people I want to be reaching out to. Now, we got some more questions that have popped in. This is great. When putting in SIC code 6141 for Chicago, why do I get businesses with other SIC codes? Okay, so let's go ahead and go back to that. Let's bring that right up. Oh, is this being recorded? Yes, it is. Don't worry about it. It's being recorded because you said you're having some issues with it. That's fine. It will be recorded and you'll get a replay on this in just a few hours. Okay, so now when putting in the SIC code, okay, so let's type in 64. In fact, here, maybe you can, here, I'm going to go ahead and give that to Jared. It was 6141. We're going to go through this exact example here, okay? See, one of the things Infofree.com wants to do for you is it wants to help you create a robust database. So it does do some thinking behind you, okay? So now you've got other options, see? So what it does is then I come through it and I narrow down. If you think about how the SIC code process is built, it is an incredibly robust database. Now, what does that mean? There are thousands upon thousands of different options and configurations. So one of the things that I always say when I go into SIC, I may have the number I want to look at, but I'm going to look at other corresponding numbers. And after you've used this system a few times, you'll really begin to see, boom, these are the numbers I want to go after. So Jared's pulling in a few there. And Jared is just one of a few Infofree.com whizzes here. So now so we got all Chicago here of an SIC code. Yeah.
The answer is that these businesses have multiple SIC codes, primary, secondary, and tertiary.
Okay, there you go. See what he's saying, and unfortunately his voice is not being picked up. There's a primary, a secondary, and a tertiary code. See, so what happens is there are other codes that get blended into a restaurant. You take a typical wholesale house, even a retail store, may have 5 or 6 different SIC codes kind of assigned to it, primary, secondary, et cetera, et cetera. And that's why sometimes you're going to get the blends. But again, this is why I like going in, doing my primary, grabbing those, and then building it out from there. But don't do this mistake. People get infofree.com and it's a shiny object, and they want to play in it for hours and hours and hours and hours. Don't. Grab your list, go, make the call. Because otherwise what happens is you'll sit there and play and play and play in it, and you'll never make the call. That's thinking about prospecting, but never doing it. Let the tool work for you. Yeah. Now, have you begun to get a sense as to how Infofree.com works? Now, let's back up here to a couple of these other slides here. It really comes down to the telephone. If you're not using the telephone to your fullest extent, now you say, Mark, I'm just not there. But that's where I come back to. Be relaxed, be natural, be you. When you are, it's amazing. Now, let me share with you a quick, simple piece here regarding the clock, the calendar, and the phone. 1, pull down your list tonight. Know who you're going to call. Move that into CRM 101. That way, then tomorrow morning when your day starts, you can immediately pick up the phone. What I see happening too many times is that people will, I'll figure out who I'm going to call tomorrow. I always want to know who I'm going to call tomorrow before today ends. That's the best way for me to use my time and use the calendar. Now, some of you might be saying, Mark, I just can't call these people on a Tuesday or a Friday or whatever it is. How do you know? You know what's interesting? Your time is not their time. Somebody asked me one time, when's the best time to call? And I said, right now, right now. Don't ever hesitate about thinking it's not the right time to call, because it's amazing. I have worked with a number of insurance agents, and it's amazing. For every insurance agent that says I can't call in the evening, there's one that says they do their best calling in the evening. For every insurance agent that says they can't call during the day. Same way with real estate people. They say, well, somebody says, well, I can't call during the day, I call on the weekends. And others say, I can't call. You don't know until you do it. You know what I'm going to tell you this? Many times the obstacle you think is just in here. It's not with the customer. The prospect doesn't have that obstacle. You have that, and you're allowing yourself to believe that. So what does it really come down to? Like I said, it's being relaxed, be natural, and be you. When I pick up the phone and call using the infofree.com. Now, here's one final piece I want to leave with you. If we got some more questions. Oh, we got some more questions that have popped in. Terrific. Let me put my glasses on here. I've got to be able to see these here. Oh, there we go. Okay, somebody was helping somebody else there. So that's good. Now, here's one final piece I want to share with you. When you get into infofree.com, make sure you're using CRM 101. Now, why? because it's the tool. Can you go ahead and jump over to CRM 101 there? The reason I say this is because this tool is going to help you from getting confused. When I get into CRM 101, what does it do? You see here, it allows me to add a note. It allows me to keep my correspondence in there. This is absolutely critical. Even if you don't get a hold of that person, make sure you put a note in there. Try to contact them on that day. Try to contact them on that day. Again, I use CRM 101 to be able to work for me. Oh, look at this. Look at how he's filtering this. Now, again, you see how fast Infofree.com works. And I want to share with you, it's not because the database is never updated. You saw that piece of hot new leads. Yeah, because the database is continuously being refreshed. And again, that's one of the key reasons. Hey, my name is Mark Hunter. I am the Sales Hunter. Wow, this is cool. Isn't this cool? But anyway, what we've been talking about here today is really all about, hey, how to help you be more successful in sales. Now, Infofree.com is the tool. I'm going to encourage you to use it. Jump out to their website right now, and you can get on the phone right now with somebody to be checking it out. And hey, I want to say thank you very much. I did write the book, High Profit Prospecting. And the only reason I recommend Infofree.com is because I know it works. Great selling.